Hello, this is Edwin Dearborn, another edition of Caffeinated Content. Come to you with great business ideas in the early morning. That's why I got the bright Vegas sunshine on me. Talk about great business ideas or a hot cup of coffee. And today I'm coming from Magnum Coffee, which is right across the street from McCarran International Airport, right here by the Strip. Okay, so last night I was at a sales meeting with an organization I'm involved with, and they were laying out some new systems and supportive content, and this was very, very popular with the sales individuals. And this is something that I've noted in my book, Power Branding Secrets, and I've written in blog posts, covered in other videos, which is you have to support sales with systems and good content. So what does that mean, systems? You have to show them step by step what to do in terms of how to engage the leads, how to follow up with the leads, what content to send the leads, what content do they use to do the presentation, how do they basically stay in front of the prospect, answer their questions, and close the deal. And what I've done is I have found that particularly in larger organizations where you do have a division of marketing personnel, branding personnel, and salespeople, this wouldn't necessarily apply to a coffee shop like this because it's all probably done by one individual, probably the owner. But when you get to an organization where they have 20 or 30 employees, and now you have some division of labor, and you've got marketing people over here and salespeople over here, is that the marketing people and the salespeople rarely communicate at all or very well together. Meaning, marketing's doing what they think they need to be doing to grow the brand, and then they give that off to the salespeople. They don't really check with salespeople if that's what they need or if it's working or effective for them, right? And then the salespeople typically in resentment because they don't feel they're getting the sales support, the marketing support, the content support, or the system support that they so desperately want to be able to close more deals. And I've literally gone into larger organizations and I've brought the CEO, the marketing people, and the salespeople together, and I basically say to the salespeople, if I could give you any type of content that you would want, what type of content would that be? And almost 9 times out of 10, there's a laundry list, a long laundry list of either updated content or new content that they want that the marketing people have no idea that they need. They're off doing their branding stuff, whatever that is. They're doing their, and that's the problem, is they're doing marketing stuff with no connectivity, no responsibility to increasing sales. So why is this so important? Because now the salespeople feel that they're unsupported. It builds resentment, where on the other hand, if you actually give them the content, and I've done this before, you give the salespeople the content they want, 2 things happen. Number 1, they become more effective at their job and they become happier. And number 2, you take all their excuses away for not having sales. Look, I gave you all the content. I'm doing the email. I'm doing the Facebook ads. I gave you the PowerPoint presentation you wanted. I gave you the brochure you wanted. What excuses do you have now, right? Well, probably the only one last excuse that you could have with a salesperson who's not performing is that you haven't trained them and educated them in how to do it. You haven't done role playing, you haven't cleared up their misunderstood terms, you haven't put them through enough drilling over and over, you haven't apprenticed them, you haven't given them experience. You know, you have to bring them along. Because see, people can't perform what they don't understand. This is true of children, this is true of adults, this is true of athletes, this is true of pilots, this is true of anybody. You can't perform what you don't understand. And there's different ways to misunderstand something. right? You could just like not have any material. That's a way to misunderstand something. There's no educational material. So how could I ever understand it, right? You don't have a glossary of terms. You don't understand what the people are saying. You're not speaking their language. Or number two, you haven't given sufficient practice with the materials. You haven't had sufficient apprenticeship, coaching, mentoring to really kind of iron out the weak points, iron out the uncertainties, gain the experience. Like, how long does it take to make a sailor? 2 or 3 years before he gets his sea legs, before he starts to learn the weather patterns and how to tie knots with speed and certainty. How long does it take to make a pilot? Even though you've got your license to fly, you're co-pilot for a number of years. I know this because my dad is a former pilot, is a flight instructor. You don't just get in an airplane when you have your license to become captain. No, you study, you practice, you are with a captain of greater experience for years and years and years and years before you're ever allowed to become a captain of a plane yourself. In any major airlines, 7, 8 years, thousands of hours of flying and practice, right? Now, if we expect that of an airline pilot, if we expect that from other professions, why don't we take the same due diligence to have a similar level of training and apprenticeship and support for our sales people? They're out there representing your company. Who do you want representing your company? Somebody who's incompetent, who doesn't know how to answer questions, who's babbling at the mouth, who looks flustered and confused, who's pissed off because they're not getting support? Is that the person you want out there selling you? I mean, think about it. This person is probably the greatest brand ambassador you have, and you're leaving them to die. So what does that say about your company? Because these salespeople are representing you. And this organization that I'm a part of has had that problem. I'll admit it. It's been a problem for me. And I've obviously taken more proactive actions to put together my own materials. But man, wouldn't it be great to walk in an organization going, here's how you introduce the company, here's your PowerPoint presentation, here's your manual, here's 14 different ways to generate leads, here's how to put on an event, here's where you do, this is what the room should look like. Can you imagine if you handed that and you drilled that and you apprenticed somebody and it was a body of knowledge broken down into sub-bodies of knowledge, lead generation, presentation, closing, follow-up. Can you imagine if that body of knowledge actually existed within an organization for their sales and marketing people and how to work together? Oh my God, that's $1 billion solution for any organization. So now you're asking yourself, how does this apply to me? What does this mean to me? This is all great rant, awesome content, Ed, but what does it have to do with me? Look, you have to start somewhere, and you have to start documenting a system and start putting it into place. It may take a couple years. Okay, so it takes a couple years. How long did it take to develop McDonald's? A few years before it became $1 billion brand? Do you think there were some reiterations, some rebranding exercises along the way? Absolutely. Hilton Hotel, Southwest Airlines. I don't care who you take. Any great brand has gone through an evolution, and in the beginning, it was awkward and simple and not sophisticated. So you're going to be in that stage as well. So start documenting something. Start creating that library today, and through the principle of Kaizen, continuous small improvements, that's what Kaizen means in Japanese, continuous small improvements, you look back over a year, and the combined small continuous improvements creates this system that's out of this world. And the best place to start is with your salespeople and your customers. Ask your salespeople, what are the common situations that you run into that you don't know how to handle? What are the common questions that you get that you don't know how to answer or we haven't helped you with? Right? What type of diagrams would make it easier to explain who we are or what we do or how we interface with our audience? And then ask the customers, are there brands like us that you love more than us? Why is that? What do they do differently? What could we do differently? What do we do well? How could we be better at it? Is there something we suck at? What would we have to change to stop sucking at it? Right? I mean, yes, you got to put your ego aside. You have to eat some humble pie while you're doing this exercise, but can you imagine the invaluable feedback once you kind of take off your ego and you actually are willing to listen to your salespeople, you're willing to listen to the audience, and now you reverse engineer a content marketing, a follow-up system, and a sales presentation model that fits what they need and want. That makes it easy for them to explain. It makes them easy for people to impress others. It makes it easy to refer you. Holy mother of gosh, you're gonna get a lot of sales, right? And so in working with this office up in Seattle, I've been extremely supportive of my people. What do you need next? What do you need next? Well, I need this, and I heard this, and I need some examples of this. Good, let me go get it. And I keep creating the content and the sales support, and guess what? They love it. They love it. They love it because I'm listening and I'm responding. Am I perfect? Never. I never will be. But they see that I'm trying. They see that I'm giving it my best effort. So guess what happens? It inspires them, it motivates them, right? That there's somebody on the other end that's actually willing to hear their problems and try to help them figure out a solution to make their job easier to sell the brand I represent. If you can keep doing that, I guarantee you, most C-level executives and business owners will not do this exercise. So when you do this exercise, man, you're going to stand out in your sales, in your marketing, and in your growth. All right, if you need any help in any of this with your company, please reach out to me. I love collaborating. I love working with other aspiring, ambitious entrepreneurs and business owners who really want to make a profitable impact with whatever they're doing. You made a great one. Bye-bye.